welcome to the 7th video in my series of You Can Play This. The tune I've chosen for this video, The Huntsuppe, was a real hit in its day. So much so that the oldest example of it dates back to the 1560s, with an anonymous arrangement for lute in an unnamed manuscript now located in the Folger Library. Fast forward 100 years later, and this little tune was still going strong, it having passed through many musician spheres, finally resting in John Playford's Music's Delight on the Cittern, published in 1666. Well, here I am with my cittern, so here is The Hunt is Up from John Playford's book. The start of documenting artistic works had its roots in the registers of the Stationers' Company of London in 1557. The Huntsuppe tune was registered between 1565 and 66, but there is little evidence of the music, and what there is very scratchy. Enjoying 100 years or so of popularity, the Huntsuppe had many versions, banded round for lute, cittern, keyboard, bandora, voices and mixed instruments. Folks just loved it. We know of around 7 lute solo pieces and a lute duet that are centred around the musical form of the ground bass on which the melody is structured. The tune can also be found with many title variants. The Hunt is Up, The Hunt Up, The New Hunt's Sundry Ways, The New Hunt's Up, The Scottish Hunt's Up. In fact, some of you may have come across a video I did of the Scottish Huntsuppe, attributed to John Whitfield. The Huntsuppe was one of many tunes that was part of a rich tapestry of an oral musical tradition where tunes were malleable and classless, their authorship shrouded in mystery. Nobody can really stake a claim on the Huntsuppe. It was a tune played on street corners, in the tavern, the theatre, at court, and even to royalty. This was music that belonged to the people. This, and many other tunes that existed alongside it, were part of the Elizabethan zeitgeist. Tunes such as Trenchmore, Peascod, Fortune My Foe. These melodies were turned into songs. The tunes mutated as they passed through history. This was music that was carried in the air. What's the meaning of the title? Shakespeare gives us a couple of clues. The first clue is found in Romeo and Juliet. Since arm from arm that voice doth us affray, hunting the hence with hunts up to the day. Oh, now be gone, more light, and light it grows. The second is from Titus Andronicus. The hunt is up, the morn is bright and gay, the fields and the woods are green. Uncouple here, and let us make a bay, and wake the emperor and his lovely bride. This tune is basically an Elizabethan wake-up call. Shakespeare uses it to symbolise the hour of waking for lovers. The book, A World of Words, an Italian to English dictionary compiled by John Florio, has an entry matinata, meaning morning's music or hunts up, played in the morning under one's window. So the hunts up was a morning call, and the musicians that went round waking folks were known as huntsuppers. Hence the spelling of the title of this piece, The English Huntsuppe. This custom, known as huntsupping, lasted into the 18th century, a tradition where a fellow would play a tune under your window in the early morning to wish you a good morrow. Maybe a fiddle player would have the job, but seeing as this tune is written for other instruments too, who knows what gaggle of musos you'd encounter as you drew your curtains first thing. Huntsupping at Christmas had its own tradition. The musician would play to each household and wish his listeners a Merry Christmas. After a week or so he'd return, or he'd send his wife, in order to collect a little gift of money or food. It was considered bad luck not to reciprocate. The version I'm playing is from the Jane Pickering Lute book, and like the Scottish Huntsuppe, it's attributed to John Whitfield. It's quite likely that the arrangement is his. He writes a nice little division on the main theme. I've done what all musicians have done in the past and made it my own. So, don't forget to check out my top Luteweb tips after this. Here are a couple of top tips from Luteweb. Use your second finger to anchor down those first couple of bars. It really helps with the sustain and contributes to that drone-like feature. When you come to the end of the phrase and there's a long note or a chord, try to use the space to be inventive by keeping the sound going. You can do this by repeating the harmony notes. Or you could invent a little noodle. Or finally, make sure you enjoy the lilting quality of this piece. Follow the contours of the melody. Make your audience aware of the bar lines. Get folks tapping their feet. Don't forget, you can download a score of this piece with my personal annotations to help you get going straight away. The link is below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Happy lute playing.